kemu. Misenya yanka yedu besa pakemu. Brabeji enu, brabeso yemu, brabeji enu, brabeso yemu. Na yebreo, yebreo, yebreo. Na yebreo, yebreo, yebreo. Na yebreo, yebreo, yebreo. Na yebreo, yebreo, yebrepa. Brabeji enu, brabeso yemu, brabeji enu, brabeso yemu. Ejo, kodo. Anana nyumre, ina bronco baby baby. Mi beja mi tina mi muse groma ye fepa. Groma ye nice, sekra ye fine. Mi bisa ye na ye si mahamane ye waya dio. Koshe rigisu, koshe kotoka, sisi sku wadai. Muma ye mpini ne waya dio. Ye pezu, mahama ye peza. Ye pezu, zu, ye peza. Mahama enkasa, frisa fedie, yehu. Ey, yasiya sa fedie, yehu, yamodu. Yebreo, yebreo, yebreo. Na yebreo, yebreo, yebreo. Na yebreo, yebreo, yebreo. Na yebreo, yebreo, yebrepa. Echo, kodo. Agbewae, Damunu wahi, factories no wahi, empty promises, and one yati, hey, Mahama bro, JM bro, wana bonko, Mahama bro, JM bro, Ona, Mahama bro, JM bro, wana bonko, Mahama bro, JM bro, wana. Hecho, wana pukodo, wana yebreo, yebreo, yebreo. Na yebreo, yebreo, yebreo. Na yebreo, yebreo.
All right, now, good evening to you wherever you are. You're welcome to Master Challenge, your favorite. We are live broadcasting from Birmingham. Thank you for inviting us to your home. We are also live on Facebook, on YouTube, on all our affiliate stations across the world. This week has been very eventful. I.e., we have the news of the death of two aspiring members of parliament, one of them being a sitting member of parliament, who all these things happen during the week. And unfortunately, they all belong to the MP. Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, wherever you are. You're welcome to Elite TV. This is Marcus Horizon on your favorite channel, Elite TV, live broadcasting here in Birmingham, in England. Thank you for inviting us into your home. To our listeners, viewers all over the world, you are all welcome. We are also live on Facebook and all our affiliates worldwide. Indeed, this has been a very eventful week as we try to look behind us all the matters that happened during the week. It has been very eventful one, especially we lost two distinguished personalities in the Ghanaian political arena. One of them being a sitting member of parliament and one an aspiring one. The MP for Yape Kutogu constituency of the NPC and that one of the infant man constituency who was attacked by armed robbers uh, while on a campaign tour. This is just by the by. We wish our condolences to the bereaved family. I believe the national security operatives will up their game to safeguard lives and property. Um, Recently, there has been some interesting developments in the Volta region of Ghana by a so-called secessionist group. They are interestingly demanding for their independence of a part of the nation or the Republic of Ghana. There are interesting scenarios coming up. We know that there is a long-standing group which are called the Homeland Study Group. They have come out to dissociate themselves from that activity that occurred during the past few weeks. Um, the Another group of people are also saying there is a complete inaction in the part of government agencies, or maybe some also put it as intelligence failure. The question that arises on our discussion today will be: does this group have a case at all, if any? What are the historical antecedents of this Transvolta Togoland? And then we will be looking at some allegations of the financiers of this group being known by the Information Minister of Ghana, Honorable Kojo Oppong Nkrumah. Another phase of the discussion we will also be looking at is the government manipulating the situation for electoral advantage, or the opposition parties are just doing the usual politics. And we will also be looking at, is it a good idea to negotiate with these renegade groups, or is just resistance, just flash them out? To help us do this important discussion today, we are accepting into the studio Dr. Innocent Badaf. He was supposed to be taking care of the historical antecedents of this group. We will be looking at the international relations dimension of such groups when they arise in a sovereign state like Ghana. He will be joining us soon during the program. On the show this evening too, we have a good friend, he's Mr. Fauzan Kentigi. He happens to be deputy organizer of the new patriotic party UK Ireland Front. He is a very, very well versed person, scholar. He is into oil and gas specialist in that area. Um, and also joining us on the program this evening, we have Mr. Amos Nkanka. He is a PDP regional chairman. He's here with us. Mr. Amos, if you are here, how are you doing? Well, it seems we are having difficulty with the sound. We also have on the show this evening Mr. Kenneth Johnson. He is the representative of the NDC and the chairman of the NDC, the National Democratic Congress of West Midlands of the United Kingdom. He's the chairman of the Telford branch. Uh, a little bit about him. We know him to be an engineer, manufacturing engineer, and a technical education expert. He happens to to be the one who developed the bespoke training and consultancy for the manufacturing sector during the UK. He's also known to have been the one who organized the first tourism investment drive in Ghana. Gentlemen, if you can hear me, good evening. You're welcome to Manchester Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Big Moses. But your voice is very down. We could hardly hear you. I don't know if it's the same for my colleagues, but I can hardly hear what you're saying.
Yeah, the technical man will sort it out. We are sorry about that. Yeah, basically, it's just an intro. Today, we will be looking at the issue of the Western Togoland and the secessionist groupings activity in the Volta region of Ghana. Mr. Kenneth Johnson, what is your view about this whole brouhaha? In your view, what do you think is happening? Do they have a case?
Well, good evening to your viewers and Big Moses. I think that this is a subject that can take many hours to discuss, but I'm going to be very succinct. I think my little understanding of international relations and that of, if you like, diplomacy is showing that these tendencies that we have seen in recent times in the Western Togoland is not coming from a group of people who have any determination, if you like, to separate themselves from the Republic of Ghana. It is a pure political agenda, which is coming from the current administration, and I will explain why I'm saying that. You would recall in 2008, one famous journalist in Ghana by the person of Kofi Kumsin, he used to run the Chronicles. I think he's the founder of the Ghanaian Chronicles, made a very statement that I think that it continues to be in our minds every now and then, which was to say that if Nana Addo Akufo-Addo was elected the president, he could not sleep. In that very same year, we also saw a videotape that came out from then President Kufuor, who was also advising the people of the New Patriotic Party, of his own party, telling them that they need to be careful of people with the tendencies of causing chaos and atrocities. And people are born to create disturbances. So you want to ask yourself, why is that all of a sudden we have Ghanaians living in a one, if you like, umbrella in a country peaceful as ever, and then they decided that they want to call themselves Western Togoland, they want to seek independence. It tells you that people are disillusioned, they are not happy about the state of the affairs of the country, and they feel that perhaps it would be better for them to pursue an individualistic agenda. That could be a potential case, because if you're just talking to the international relations expert, they will tell you that. But also, it also gives you another scenario, which tells you that perhaps it is also an agenda of the government to make sure that the opponents become weakened in their own turf. Because if people are calling themselves Western Togoland, if you look at the definition or the characteristic of that grouping, you would recognize that Western Togoland could not only be people from the Volta region, but also it goes deep down to the northern part of Ghana. So what is it that is being achieved? The leader of the group came out clearly saying that he has not been arrested, but the government was going about telling people that they have indeed arrested the secessionists and they are being arraigned before the court, of which you and I know that in Ghana today the court system is not doing well, because a person such as Kennedy Ohini Ejapon, a member of parliament of the same government, has, if you like, disrespected the apex court, and now the Attorney General has been asked to step into this case. What am I trying to put across? When government fails...
Mr. Johnson, before you move on, isn't it a reality, though, that the Homeland Study Group have been in existence for the past 20 years, and we all know their agenda? is it a coincidence or a reality? I can see this as a reality.
Well, again, realism is a subjective issue, so I don't see how we can all of a sudden say that it's been happening, and all of a sudden they want to claim their independence. I don't think it is. I think
We
it is
all
come
know,
out of
Mr.
a
Johnson.
shared.
Before you move on, we all know the agenda of the Homeland Study Group. They want to secede from Ghana, though we think they want to do it peacefully through negotiation, not really through the way these guys are doing. But the point is, something exists. There's a movement going on. So how do we say it's a political agenda when we know and we've entertained this group for a while, and they have survived many governments?
Well, I'm saying it's a political agenda because if you remember in the past, that homeland group were fighting for things like regional autonomy, which is, if you like, the recent regional independence or what the regional elections we had, so that we could even create more regions, would have solved that issue that they were looking for. So let us now define homelands group ethos. What are they seeking to do? It is an autonomy because they felt that even within the Volta region, there was some groupings that felt that OT region per se should be separated from the Volta region. You and I know that. So if the government decides to give them, and then the same people are now fighting for more, then obviously it is not just an issue of a 20-year agenda. It is an issue of some sections within the government trying to cause chaos and the mayhem. It is all because they have made it a point to make some individuals who are born, bred Ghanaians to feel that they are not Ghanaians, and these are the people that they want to get them out of the country. It
Well,
is
Mr.
not
Johnson,
that.
you hold it there. Let's take the initial comment of Mr. Fauzan Shamsin. He is the deputy organizer of the NPP, UK Ireland. He is an oil and gas expert. This international relation. Let's see what he has for us. Hello, Mr. Fauzan. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, Big Moses. Thanks a lot
Is your
for the.
government trying to destabilize the Volta region for electoral gain?
Before I answer your question, let me say a very good evening to my fellow panelists and your cherished viewers and listeners. I think you did very well in trying to let Ken understand that this Homeland Study Group didn't start today, as he was trying to allude. It's been there since even before independence. They've been there. They've had series of agitations, and he himself alluded to it. So for him to turn around and say it's government's making or it's a creation of this government, I think is quite unfortunate. I think is baseless, and then the facts doesn't support it. He doesn't have any facts or evidence to support that. And the tangent that he went about, I think that is part of the problem that is giving the Homeland Study Group guys some kind of fuel to do whatever they're doing. We all have to condemn it. What they're doing is nothing but act of terror. We need to condemn it, and we need to condemn those what they're trying to say is like conspiracy theories and all those things. I don't think that will work. In any case, Volta region is part of Ghana. What those people are seeking for to cede from Ghana is not going to work, because Ghana is a unitary state. Part of Ghana since they voted to be part of Ghana during the 1957 plebiscite. So I don't see whatever case they're trying to make now that they want to cede from Ghana. That's not going to happen.
Is it not interesting that we know, you and I know, in the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, treason is the highest offense one can commit. But a secessionist activity, which is treasonable, by the way, and you look at the activity and the inaction of the security agency of the republic, doesn't it bear credence to what Mr. Johnson said? There's a government complicity in this, because
I
it
don't
took
think.
the government 24 hours, 11 hours to even get to where the action proper is. The chiefs and people of the voter invited the security couples. They didn't turn up. Can't you see something like that happening?
I don't think. You can say there's some sort of complacency in that. The situation is under control. Those involved, the key figures have been arrested, and in due course, they will be charged with whatever offense. They did a similar thing in 2017. I don't know if you remember when they tried to declare independence. So some of them have been arraigned before court, and those who were arrested recently will also be arraigned before court. And then we should allow the.
Mr. Fauzan, you know the Attorney General filed the nollie prosecution on the previous issue. Don't you think this emboldened these ones coming, or we just
it's we are under rule of law. Before you put anybody before the court of law, you need to have evidence to back it. It's not just putting the person before the court. If you put a person before the court without evidence or reasonable doubts, then of course you might end up losing the case. So we need to build a case against them, and then before we can try them. If we haven't built enough case against them, we can't put them before the court. But then I believe in this government. This government will deal with them decisively, and then we will try to restore peace before this election.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nkansah. Is he with us? I can see he's just gone off. Any comments from that, Mr. Johnson? Oh yeah, we have Mr. Nkansah here. Mr. Nkansah, your preliminary comment about the topic under discussion.
Thank you so much. Good evening to the cherished viewers and then my co-panelists. I'm very sorry for coming in late because Ghana, the network is a bit bad. I was driving all the way from Accra to the Eastern region. I had to park somewhere and then contribute in the program. What is on board is something that we believe that all stakeholders need to come up so that we can think and deliberate. Because when government or the national security is able to meet these guys, sit down with them, find out what actually they are looking for, so that at the end of it, we will come to a consensus and know what we are about doing. No, understanding the problem is part of the solution. And so, probably they may be right. We are looking at where the Western Togoland is coming from, and then how they became part of Ghana and everything. There's a history of it. Okay? But now their claims and where they are going is far beyond what we should even be talking about. So it will be very prudent. I believe it will be very prudent. We engage them, educate them, they should understand us and we understand them as to what they are looking for. So as we speak, we are just throwing them into the bins. Oh, come on, what they are saying is not right. No. But a time came in the history of Ghana when we were under a rule and we decided we wanted independence. If we got to somewhere and then Ghana was granted independence. And so, one, is their claims right? That should be a question we should ask. Is their claims right? If it is not, then what do we do? You understand? But those have the powers. We are politicking with the NDC saying no, the MPP is behind them. The NDC is saying that the security of the state is in limbo. I mean, we just don't get what is actually going on, most of us. And so it will be very prudent with the government, the certain government, to sit down with this sessionists, find out what they are looking for.
Mr. Nkansah, can I come in a bit?
Yes, you can.
This is Ghana, a republic of Ghana.
That's right.
And we have this territorial integrity.
That's right.
And you think it's a good idea to negotiate with secessionists? Can this happen anywhere in the world?
It won't happen. But the fact of the matter is that Western Togoland was once a part of another colony or something else. Okay, and so how did they become part of us? And
but historical fact, as it was the German territory.
That's right.
Was ceded to the British. Under the British rule, we achieved our independence, hence the whole of British territory.
That's right.
Ghana. So,
that's right.
And what from my reading is that after the vote, the plebiscite, there was no timeline like the so-called 50 years being bandied about. It doesn't exist.
Right.
So what are we negotiating? We are not negotiating. There's nothing on the table for them.
You see, there's a very big problem in Ghana, and the problem is the law. At times, you want the law to work, and it becomes something else because the security itself is something else. You were saying the security couple. This is a country whereby under this government, we have a national security minister, we have an interior minister, we have a minister of defense, we have a security advisor in the office of the president. In all this, we're not able to curtail all these problems. We allowed them to do all that they wanted to do the day came up. But I still believe that in as much as we arrested them, yes, they can be interrogated. Wherever they are, it shouldn't be necessarily sitting down with them to negotiate. But you can interrogate them to find out what they really want and what they are up to, what is the interest of the leaders leading them, so that we can deal with it.
Thank you very much. Mr. Johnson, do this group have a case? Mr. Johnson?
So,
hello, Mr.
Sorry,
Johnson, can you hear me?
Hello, I'm here. I can hear you. I can hear you now.
This group have a case at all?
Again, let me say it categorically that as human beings under one umbrella or under any governance system, we have every right to demand for change. It is there. There's no one that can stop you from that. And Big Boss, you know that in this country, some 5 years ago, the people of Scotland decided to fight for independence. It wasn't because it wasn't their right. It was
how deep we can go, basically. Go on, say.
Sorry, am I okay to talk?
Yeah, go on, say.
So if the people of Scotland thought of the need for them to go for independence, the country at the time decided to give them the chance. So the fact that you have had independence doesn't mean that at any point you cannot decide to form your own country. Now, I'll give you another example. If you go to the Benelux, Belgium, Luxembourg, and the rest, that region, okay? Luxembourg is a very small country, it's about 500,000 people in the population, but they've remained independent from any other country. But they do have some connections with Belgians and then the French continent, okay, the French part. So let's bring that to the perspective of Ghana. Let me remind my friend from the other side, the opposition, the NPP, that in 1992, some people in the Western region thought that it was the need for Western region to be divided into two regions.
Which year again did you say, Mr. Johnson? Which year did you say?
1992, when we were going for the elections. And it is a fact. Any political student will tell you that. Some people in the Western region were muting for the agenda for a region to be carved out of West, because they said that much of the resources of Western region was coming from one section of the region. And that was why NDC, at some point, after many years of dialogue, thought that it was going to create a region, and YANU decided to steal that idea and went ahead and said they were going to create a new region in Western North and Western North. And even without success of creating region,
This Yanu, is it a name for a lady or some group? When you say Yanu?
Sorry for my French. The MPP.
Oh, it's a French word, is it? Okay.
Yes, a French word. When the MPP decided to steal the idea of the NDC to create new regions, it was in NDC's manifesto in 2012 and 2015. Now, let's bring that to perspective. The fact that you have been part of a nation doesn't mean that you have no right when you feel that governance system is not working for you. You have every right whatsoever. But the case of the Western Togoland, and I'm saying it on authority, it is a plot by the current administration to create destabilization within that enclave of our country because of political gains. So when my friend is saying that they started in 2017 to, if you like, create their own nation and was not successful, we have a government that has been elected, and if as my brother said, the government knows how to deal with these people, and if it is not a political plot to destabilize the region, the government could easily put the issue to rest or listen to them. We hear often that the secessionists have been arrested. And then the leader will come out and say, look, I have not been arrested. I'm in my room. I'm an old man, 83 years. Where am I running to? And they said, I have absconded. Absconded to where? So the question we should ask the government is, what is it that they are seeking to benefit from? Making some people in Ghana un-Ghanaian. That is the issue we have to think about. Because let me tell you, in 2019, you knew of 3 people being arrested on the charges of causing a purported what you call it, coup. You know that story. What happened to those group of people when we were told that some people were trying to cause a coup in Ghana? What happened to them? And I'll mention the names for you. One of which was the police officer. And what was the case? They said they had been found with some machetes and some other things in their room because they are planning to cause a coup. What is the end game? What happened? They are still lingering around. Nobody has done anything to them. You know, Fred Yao, Paul Eso Pakwi, and Bright Alan Debra Obosu were the people that the government was targeting. What was the issue? Western Togoland, irrespective of whatever it is, if the people decide to call for an independence, they have the right. But I think that it is not on this ground that they will call for the right, but rather the government is fueling that destabilization because of political gain. And if my friend would tell me that if he's saying that the government has to talk to them, and at this stage, we don't know what is happening to these people, then what business have we got for our government to be in office?
Mr. Fauzan Shamsuddin, your brother has leveled a very massive accusation against the government. You people are manipulating the situation.
Let me end my point. Sorry, if I can.
Yeah, go on.
Can I end my point? Let us not use adjective to describe issues. Let us, as Amos said, let us try and deal with the situation. Calling people terrorists, there's nothing wrong with that. Mandela was once called a terrorist, but he led his country to independence. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Okay? When the struggle is, you'll be called with so many names, but there's a way we can deal with the situation. And one of the strategies is a dialogue. But in this case, with Western people, we know why the military people have been deposited at the borders of the water region. What is the gain in that? What is the gain? You tell me. You tell me.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. I'll come back to you. Viewers and our listeners across the world, you are still on Matters Arising, broadcasting live from Birmingham, United Kingdom on Elite TV. Mr. Shamsuddin, there's an accusation that you people are manipulating the situation for electoral gain. But
why would we do that? When just 2016 we beat them by over 1 million votes. Why would we do that? And how would
I'll come back to that. Somebody, like my brother mentioned,
somebody. Okay, all right. Just
historically, we want to put it in perspective that it's no news for a group within an independent country or a nation to advocate for independence. We have examples the recent UK referendum where Scotland wanted to.
I was gonna make a correction on that. I was gonna make a correction because he used Scotland as an example. Scotland, UK is not a unitary state. UK is made of four different countries. It's made up of Scotland. I have lived in Scotland before. You know that it's made up of Ireland, and then it's made up of Wales. These are separate countries. They came together to form United Kingdom.
Northern Ireland.
In Ghana, Ghana is a unitary state. Ghana, we don't have nations within nations. We are one. We are one people. So you cannot create a country within a country. That's not possible.
But, no, there's a different example. Can you look at this one?
I want to make that correction.
I'll come back to that. Can you look at the Nation of Islam led by Louis Farrakhan? He's fighting for a similar cause within the United States of America for such same end. You remember that?
But that's not going to happen. Big Mo, that's not going to happen. Nation of Islam cannot be a country within the United States of America. That's not going to happen.
Can I make a point? Can I make a point? Let me tell you one thing.
So we'll come back to you. We will allow Fawzan to make his submission fully. I'll come to you, Mr. Johnson.
No, I just wanted to help you to make his point. If I can, please.
No, don't help me to make my point. Let me make my point, then you come in. Don't help me to make my point.
Do we sit on the round table with these people? Do they have a case?
They don't. We can't sit. We can't to do what? If they want something, if you live in a unitary state and you have grievances, you can petition the government. That's what you have to do. If you petition the government and you have legitimate cases, the government will listen to you. So sit with them for what? When we sit, when the government, let me land. When you sit with them and negotiate with them, what do they want? Is it development? Is it seeding from Ghana? What do they want? After you sit with them, next time you hear Zongo Youth also rising up. After you finish, Gonda Youth coming up. Is that the way to run the country? Is that the way we want to run the country? The government cannot sit with them. If they have anything to do, they can send a petition, and then the government will look at it. If they have legitimate concerns, the government will address it. That is the way forward. But saying that you should come and negotiate with them, negotiate about what? Moses, tell me, negotiate with them about what? Is it about independence? Is it about development? About what?
They need their land back.
What land do they need back? When during the plebiscite, it was I think three people. Majority of the people voted to join the then Gold Coast. It was the minority. So they are in the minority. So in democracy, we always say is the majority that carries the vote. The majority must carry the day. I made this argument some time back, and then somebody was telling me that majority of the people voted to join Gold Coast. So the Western Togoland or the Homeland Studies group, they are in the minority. So are we going to go with the minority and leave the majority? Is that what you want us to do? Is that the way democracy works? We chose the path of democracy. We have to go with the majority. That is the way forward. If they have any concerns, if they have any grievances, they can petition the government, and then the government will look into it. But the position the NDC is taking on this matter is making the thing even worse, because
Mr. Samsudeen,
yes.
Come to look at this scenario. The MPP government is in power. Their performance, others say, is abysmal. They are very unpopular on the ground as we speak. The Volta region is notorious for voting against the MPP for almost all elections from 1992. The highest the MPP ever got was 13% in an election. So now the MPP is in power. They are really not very popular. If they destabilize the Volta region, close to 1 million voters will be disenfranchised, hence to the advantage of the MPP. Is that not
Okay.
logic to say you are seeing the danger on the ground, so you need to do
I think
anything by all means, destabilize the place? They will be in a state of emergency. The vote will go ahead. Then you win again. Is that not the game plan?
and I'm telling you that even when the place was stabilized and they were in government, we beat them by over 1 million votes. They were in government. They were in government. There was peace over there. We beat them by over 1 million votes. So why would we try to destabilize?
Not in the voter region, please.
Why would we try to destabilize that part of the country?
Thank you very much.
This propaganda will not work.
I'll come back to Mr. Johnson. Mr. Nkansa, any point from this so far?
You see, when my brother is saying there's no cause for negotiations, right? Now, what is the government doing? Have they been taken to court? Have they been charged? Have they been sentenced? You know, they have the power to do that. Understand? You've arrested them. Good. The next line of action. We are not seeing the action. So all that we are sitting at the back will assume. Okay? He said, oh, they beat the NDC by 1 million votes. Fine. But not in the voter region. You didn't beat them in the voter region. And so
voter region was part of Ghana. They voted, but we still beat them.
It was part, but they beat you in the voter region. That's the fact.
But then you know, if you're talking about election figures, do you talk about only voter region?
No, we don't.
You talk about the collated results.
We should understand that there are strongholds.
Mr. Nkasa, that's what I'm saying. Even when the place was stable, we still beat them.
Let us assume. No, listen.
We're not scared of voter region. We're not scared of voter region. Why should we be scared of voter region?
What I'm trying to say is that let us assume
can we listen to Mr. Nkasa for a bit?
Let us assume without admitting that in an NDC government, a team kingdom or the Ashanti kingdom decides that we want to have our independence. We want to be on our own because we have a king that we want to rule on our own because things are not going well. What would the MPP say? This thing happened between you two. And Ghana has performed abysmal because of the NPP and the NDC. Because all they are good to do is to run a blame game. When it is the NDC, fine. When it is with the MPP, it is fine. Anything that is good with the MPP, that the NDC will talk about, it will be good on the other side. These things will not help our country. You understand? I asked my brother that if this happen, maybe in the Ashanti Kingdom or in the Atem Kingdom, in my part of the region, Eastern region, it will be a different story. You wouldn't be speaking the way he's speaking now. We have to stick to the facts. Government has told Ghanaian he has a social contract with the people of Ghana that he's going to protect us. We have a minister of state in charge of security. We have a minister of security. We have an interior minister. We have a defense minister. Let's look at the state of insecurity in the system. It tells you government has failed. That's the simple message.
Wow, thank you.
The government has failed the people of Ghana.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nkasa.
We are not taking them to court. We are not committing them. So what happened?
Thank you very much, Mr. Nkasa. Mr. Johnson, I think you have a lot to say. Can you chip in quickly?
Thank you. Let me say this. Mr. Nkasa is speaking. I'm not the one talking for NDC. He has actually spoken the language of the good people of Ghana. Because if you have a government with a majority and it cannot deal with this issue of Western Togoland, and we still have insecurity in our country, then obviously the government has no business to rule. And that is what people want the government of. So whatever activity that they want to do through the Electoral Commission to continue to stay in power, it is going to create anarchy. And that is a fact. I have to tell you this. But let's come to the substantive issues. My brother Fauzan said that once you have a unitary state, you cannot create a new country out of. That is a lie. It's a palpable lie. I'll give you one specific example. Recently, South Sudan was born out of Sudan. Mm-hmm. You know the story of South Sudan, Mr. Fauzan, right? South Sudan had similar issues with Western Togoland, if you don't want to remember. But I know you remember, but you're playing politics with this issue. But what happened? South Sudan became a new country on the African bloc. And therefore, you cannot say because we have had independence, everybody must kowtow to it. We have a country where the president alone has appointed over 83 High Court judges. And you're telling people to go to the High Court to go and defend their cases. What signal are you telling the people?
Mr. Johnson, is it legal or illegal?
What is illegal?
Appointing High Court and Supreme Court justice.
I'm not going to go to the
legal or illegal?
I'm not going to say.
This is what I spoke about the NPP and the NDC. When they are in power, they do same. You understand? It's very unfortunate in our political system.
I want to really exhaust Mr. Johnson's point.
Right.
Go on.
Yeah, so what I'm saying, if you're looking at the legalities of it, in politics, you always have to work with the members of the other parties in the opposition. Look at what happened in America when Trump is in government and there's a vacant position in the Supreme Court. Although there's been an acrimony about the selection that he's got, people thought that perhaps since he's going for the election, he should allow that position to be not filled until after the election and a new president will come and appoint. It happened to Obama. Obama appointed someone and then the Senate decided to block that appointment. You understand? It doesn't have to be that because the Constitution has given you the power to appoint anyone, you'd just be enmassing the high court and our court system because you think it's your right. If you really want a government that is working for the people, now that's what I'm talking about, what President Kufuor said, that we should be careful of an individual who has a tendency of creating chaos. Nenado has by far shown that anything that is democracy he doesn't like, he wants his own way. Volta region is now on a stable place. If you go to Central region, a member of parliament is being killed. Today, the vice chairman of the NPP for that same constituency has been reprimanded or has been arrested by the police because when they checked his account, it wasn't sticking right and he's part of it. We saw how judges were being chased in courts under this government. We've seen the element of chaos and distraction everywhere. So when my friend is talking about the fact that you needed people to make a petition to the government for the cases to be heard, you are not doing anything. You are rather causing more anarchy. The element of anarchy is by when the government decides not to listen to the people because they think that they have the constitutional mandate to do whatever they like. Let's look at the way Charlotte Osei was taken out of office. And let's look at how the Electoral Commission was appointed, the commissioners were appointed. If we are a serious country, the president would have given some olive branch to the opposition members, all the political parties say, look, we need to fill this independent body. How do we go about it? And that is what is done in any democracy. It is not because the power is given to the president of the day or the prime minister, and therefore you have to just put anybody you like. We know what people are serving in the high court and in our judicial services. You understand? So in terms of the legality, I'm not questioning that. I'm talking about the morality aspect of it. The law may permit you, but you have to be very psychologically inclined with your morals and be able to understand that if I take this decision, will this serve the interest of the country? Political
Mr. Johnson.
Yes, sir.
Can you come back to the topic? I can see we are really diverting.
No. You brought the issue of morality. And I'm giving you examples of morality where moral high grounds would have to work in. Now, look at Western Togoland. As Mr. Nkansa said, the government knows the people, the so-called plebiscite. The government knows those who are causing the distraction. Why is the government not able to take them to court with their own muscle powers in the judicial service and be able to imprison them or take the necessary actions against them? Because I said to you, it is a ploy. It is a ploy to make Volta region and OT region unstable so that they can win the election. He's talking about the fact that, yes, they won 1 million. That election has not been gazetted. So what are you talking about here? An election well over 3.5 years, yeah, you have not been able to gazette it. It means there is questionable elections. That is one issue. Secondly, if you want to believe that these people are causing distractions, you know what the law should do. Ask the lawyers to deal with the cases. The old man is walking free and he makes a press statement and say, look, I'm an old man, 83 years in my room. They say I've run away. Where am I running to? Where am I running to? These are the words of the leader of the Western Togoland group. You understand? Yet
Thank you very much.
We have sent over 100 military personnel to the borders of Volta region because we want to make some people Ghanaians. That is the problem we need to be thinking about. And not because you won the election.
Wow.
We cannot go to Ashanti region or Eastern region, as Mr. Amos is saying, to do the same thing. It is psychologically not right, morally not right, to make Ghanaians feel very threatened in your own country. Insecurities everywhere. Today, people are dying.
Thank
People
you
are
very much.
We can't even make any case. Which of the cases have we had that the government has been able to persecute and been able to bring justice to these families? We can't.
All right, Mr. Johnson. Thank you very much. Mr. Johnson, any rebuttal before we look at the way forward, as we have about 10 minutes to go on this show? Any rebuttals? Then we discuss the way forward on this situation.
Mr. Johnson has said this word 3 times that people are trying to make some people Ghanaian, and I don't know what he means by they are trying to make people Ghanaian. A Ghanaian is defined in our constitution, and I don't know any move by this government that has tried to take that from any person. If you are protecting the territorial integrity of the country, it does not mean that you are trying to make somebody Ghanaian. I believe the government cannot do that. Government cannot take away the Ghanaianship of anybody. So what he's saying has not got any basis. The government is on this issue. The government is on the matter, and then the government will deal with it decisively. You want the government to arraign people before courts without evidence. The government wouldn't do that. There must be thorough investigations. There must be charges against those people, and then trust the government to do that. So this question of the government is trying to destabilize that part of the Volta region is neither here nor there. That has been the ways of the NDC, and then I'm not surprised Mr. Johnson is speaking this way, because obviously they know they will lose this election. So they're trying to find some. They're trying to psych their supporters up, and then say, oh, they try to make a voter region unstable so that they will rig the election, so that they will win the election. This election, we are winning. We are winning anyway. So they're trying to psych the people up, and that's exactly what Mr. Johnson is doing. But then we are not perturbed about that. We are very focused on our agenda, and then come December 2020, we are winning, inshallah.
Thank you very much. Mr. Nkansa, are you there?
Yes, I'm
Any
here.
views on the way forward with this situation of secessionism, the Transvolta, Togoland, and the Homeland Study Group? Any view on the way forward as we wrap up?
All that I will say is that the Ghanaians have a social contract with the president of Ghana, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo. He needs to protect us. He needs to guide us. That's why we have the Attorney General. We have all the other people in position. They're paid to work on our behalf. But it seems they are being paid for no job done. As my brother said, they need evidence to go to court and whatsoever. What further evidence do they need? These guys are on the streets. They are saying that they need independence. Put them to court. Let them prove why they need it. Let our court hear them. If they deserve to be convicted, let them be convicted and be in prison or whatsoever the action may be taken. But we are not seeing this. That is where we are, and that is why we are saying that the government has failed us. Anything any of us will say is just a suggestion. The government will like to take it or not. And so we are saying that come December 7th, it looks Anado and his security couples are not in the helm of affairs. They should vote against them and vote for Madam Bridget Ogbenuku and the PPP so that we will take power and put the country in the right direction. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Mr. Johnson, Mr. Fawzan, who will be the last one? I want to be as fair as possible. Okay, Mr. Fawzan. Any way forward? Okay, Mr. Johnson.
Mr.
Johnson, take us to way forward in this situation.
It is not the business of government to cause dissatisfaction among the people, particularly when you know that you are losing the elections. they came. I mean, he's talking about investigations. Big Moses, take it from me today. If the unfortunate happens, which I know is not going to happen, should the unfortunate happens, now December 7th, NEC is winning election. But I'm saying if the unfortunate happens, which is not going to happen, these same people will say, oh, we are going to file nulli prosequi because there's nothing against this secessionists. Because it was a pure political agenda to create and destabilize, okay, the voter and OT regions, so that the citizens of this country will not go and vote. As my brother Amos has said, there's a huge insecurity in our country. Members of parliament, their wives, their children, people we voted for them to represent us are being maimed broad daylight. And we cannot even think of their protection. How much more the ordinary Ghanaian who is going to fight for his gari and your gari to chop and eat? You understand what I'm saying? And the president has said nothing about these issues. So that's to bring the West into perspective. President Kufuor in 2008 said that we should be careful of people with the tendencies of causing chaos. And Nana has proven to be a man of distraction and a disaster. He had 132 ministers, and yet we cannot deal with a so-called secessionist case. We cannot deal with insecurity in our country. The amount of spending that we have on our ministers alone can build hospital in a month, per month, can build a free model school in my village, can decide to make a child in your village, Big Moses, be able to enjoy a quality health care without any issues whatsoever, or can train, if you like, 20 doctors per month with full scholarship. These are the matters we are talking about. It is not about creating distractions by saying Western Togoland. The group has been there. They have been fighting a certain cause. And once we know that they are not causing it, what come to mind that boggles me is the fact that today, on the street of Poho, Hohoi, Alabama, everywhere we have military personnel. These guys have to be in the barracks. Why is it that you cannot send the same people to Kumasi or to Brangahafu or to Waliwali or to Wah, but only voter? These are the issues. So we have a president who is aiming to cause distraction. And I think the Ghanaians are becoming more jittery about that. And any attempt, I want to see any attempt that they think that they have the electoral commissioners in their pocket and therefore they are going to be the people have already voted, and their people's voice is that they don't want the government any longer. And that is why we should not make the mistake. John Mahama is coming to continue the good works that he did. The hospitals, the roads, the interchanges, the Baumia cannot even quantify, the better infrastructure that we have in Ghana, that so-called free education that has become a disaster. We are going to refine it. We are going to grant people security and give them the best of the best to be able to live a peaceful country. This is what NDC is for.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Mr. Fauzan Shamsuddin, is Ghana safe under the hands of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo?
What I just want to say is, in one breath, my NDC guys are saying that the government is not acting on these agitations in the voter region. And in another breath, they are saying that the government is sending police officers, military in the voter region to try to destabilize it.
To cause intimidation.
The government is trying to contain the issue. You say he's intimidating the people. The government is quiet. You say the government is quiet. So what do you want the government to do? Do you get me? So it's part of the grand scheme of the NDC to say that government is trying to intimidate the people of voter region. And then, as he just rightly said, he said, why are there no soldiers in Waliwali? Because Waliwali, there's no agitations in Waliwali, so you wouldn't expect to see soldiers over there. There's no agitations in Kumasi, so you wouldn't expect to there's no any agitations anywhere apart from the voter region. So that's where security should be high. But if you are not a terrorist or armed robber or whatever, you can go about your business in peace. If you have nothing to hide, what are you scared of soldier? Why should you be scared of police? If you indeed have nothing to hide. So that issue about government trying to intimidate people is neither here nor there. And then, like I said, we wouldn't even when voter was peaceful and then they voted massively for the NDC, we still beat them. So the question about trying to intimidate people of voter registration so that we can win the election is neither here nor there, like I said earlier on. And our policies, the people are buying our policies. And he did talk about insecurity in the country. I wouldn't want to justify the killing of anybody. I wouldn't want to justify that. But then
that was from Mr. Nkanta,
we had an MP killed in 2016, right in his house. What happened under your tenure? What happened?
Should I answer that?
No, no, it's just rhetoric. I'm not demanding an answer from you.
I'm happy to answer you.
Oh, no, don't answer me.
It's a rhetorical question, so let's allow it to go.
You're scared by your party people anyway. So
allegedly dissociate from this statement from Mr. Johnson. We completely dissociate ourselves from the comment from Mr. Johnson. Elite TV does not subscribe to the comments made by Mr. Johnson. It's a disclaimer. Thank you very much.
Please, I want to in my final submission. What I want to say is, there are certain things that we shouldn't be playing politics with, and these are issues of maybe armed robbery and the killing of people. You can't play politics with it. And the MPP, people will be killed, whether we like it or not. And the NDC, people will be killed, whether we like it or not. It's up to the state agencies to investigate it and then bring the perpetrators to book. So when you say because an MP has been killed and because of that there's insecurity, and there's been so many murders under your tenure, what have you done about it?
So it's a matter of equalization, Mr. Fauzan.
That's it. Equalization.
It's like equalization.
Wow. Thank you very much. We are out of time now. We just passed the hour by 3 minutes. It's been good talking to you, gentlemen. With me in the studio for this discussion, we are expecting Dr. Innocent Barasu. I think he had problem with his network. He's in Ghana now. I think that's the reason. On the other side of the line, we also have Mr. Fauzan Shamsuddin. He happens to be the deputy organizer of the NPP UK, Ireland, and oil and gas specialist. And my good friend, Mr. Amos Nkanta, PPP Eastern Regional Chairman. Mr. Nkanta, were you in Birmingham last year?
No.
When we made Papa Kwesi, you couldn't make it. Well, it was a very interesting meeting with Papa Kwesi. And then we have Mr. Kenneth Johnson, the indefatigable. I heard about him in Telford. I think we have spoken sometime, but he can't remember. He's the chairman of the NDC Midlands, Telford branch. It's been worthwhile talking to you guys. I hope to talk to you again next week. It's been great. Have a good night.
Let's repeat this again.
Thank you. Have a very good evening.
Tell the people to leave. Tell the people to leave. Thank you very much.
All right.